All right, this is getting out of control. Something got thrown on the court, again, during a WNBA game, and Sophie Cunningham is done staying quiet. She's calling out fans, calling out the league, and warning that if this doesn't stop, someone's going to get hurt. What was supposed to be a historic season is turning into a circus, and the players are the ones paying the price. Because this wasn't just a weird one-off. This wasn't just fans being fans. This was dangerous, disrespectful, and completely out of pocket. The WNBA is in a historic season. Record-breaking viewership, celebrity attendance, viral moments, more eyes on the league than ever before. And this is what some fans choose to do? Throw literal toys on the court mid-game? If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. Let's rewind. It's Friday night, and the Valkyries are battling the Chicago sky. Midway through the third quarter, the game's heating up, tensions are high, and then, boom, a lime green object flies in the stands and lands dead center on the court. The players freeze, the refs whistle, and the object? Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It rolls, it bounces, it glistens, because of course it does. And for a moment, the entire arena seems to be in stunned silence, except for Sophie Cunningham, who's already had enough of this nonsense. She goes straight to social media. Stop throwing on the court. You're going to hurt one of us. And honestly, she's not wrong, because this isn't funny anymore. It's dangerous. Let's talk logistics. These aren't foam fingers. They're heavy rubber, some with suction cups, some with internal wiring. If that hits someone in the head, the eye, a knee, you're looking at an actual injury in the middle of professional play. And for what? A viral moment? A TikTok video? Some bored fan trying to be quirky? This isn't fan participation. This is crossing the line. Repeatedly. And Cunningham knows it. This isn't the first time she's had to deal with fans disrespecting the game. She's had to clap back at hecklers, dodge nonsense in post-game interviews, and now, apparently, watch her footing for rogue toys mid-game. That's not basketball. That's a circus. And here's the kicker. It wasn't an isolated incident. Just 3 days earlier, another game between the Valkyries, and the dream was interrupted by the same thing. Same object, same color, same chaos. This time, it landed on a free throw line with under a minute left in a tie game. Imagine that. You got the most intense possession of the night. Players are locked in. Coaches are shouting instructions. Fans are on their feet. And then a neon green object comes sailing down from the stands and takes a little bounce, tore across the court like it's part of the play. No wonder the announcers couldn't keep it together. Jacob Toby, try and stay professional, says, something flies on the court. I think there was something that flew from a fan. And Morgan Reagan, doing her best to analyze while a literal toy lies 5 feet from the action, chimes with the most diplomatic take possible. When you have a lime green item just kind of fly, that's when the whistle should be blown. Because as a player, you want to feel protected. Let that sink in. We are now at the point in WNBA discourse where color-coded toy trajectories are being analyzed like game tape. That's how wild this has gotten. And while the broadcast tried to keep it light, Sophie Cunningham didn't. She's not here for the memes. She's not here for the jokes. She's here to play basketball. And the fact that she's now having to ask grown adults, on social media, no less, to stop throwing genitalia-shaped objects at her, that says a lot more about the fans than it does about her. But not everyone took it so seriously. Angel Reese, who, let's be clear, has a very different relationship with viral culture, decided to poke fun at the situation. She quote-tweeted a picture of the green toy with a joke aimed at Fever guard Sydney Colson. Hey, at Sid J. Colson, why do you keep throwing your mean green in different arenas? It's getting weird. And look, we get it. It's classic Angel. Trolling, laughing it off, keeping the tone light. But for Sophie, that's not the vibe. Because to her, and to a lot of other players, this isn't funny anymore. It's a safety issue, and it speaks to something deeper. See, part of the reason these moments hit so hard is because women in sports are already battling to be taken seriously. They're fighting for fair pay, for respect, for protection, for basic dignity on the court. And when fans pull stunts like this, it turns a professional event into a punchline. It reinforces every tired stereotype, every "the WNBA is a joke" tweet, every snide comment that women's basketball isn't real basketball. When you throw a toy on the floor, you're not just being disruptive, you're being disrespectful to the entire movement. And let's not forget, this is happening in a league where physicality is already out of control. Caitlin Clark's taking more hits than a human crash test dummy. Players are being body checked, poked in the eye, elbowed in the ribs. Now they've got to watch their feet for projectiles? That's not entertainment. That's borderline unsafe. So Sophie's frustration? Entirely valid. And she's not alone. Players are fed up. They're tired of the antics. Tired of being treated like reality TV instead of elite athletes. Tired of the league being used as a playground for people who can't act right in public. Let's talk consequences. So far, no arrests, no official bans, no public shaming of the fans responsible. The broadcast barely addressed it. The league hasn't issued a statement. And that silence, that's part of the problem. Because if a fan threw a bottle during an NBA game, immediate ejection, stadium ban, sometimes even charges. But here, a police officer quietly wrapped the object in a towel and walked it off like it was a lost child at Disneyland. No confrontation, no consequences, just business as usual. And that's the difference. The WNBA is finally getting the spotlight it deserves. But that spotlight brings clowns. And if the league doesn't start cracking down hard, more of them are going to test the limits. So here's the real question. How far does it have to go before someone steps in? Is it going to take an actual injury? A game delay? An on-court altercation sparked by a rubber object flying out of nowhere? Because if we get there, it's not on the fans anymore, it's on the league. The line has already been crossed. Twice. And Sophie Cunningham? She's drawing it in permanent marker. She's saying what every player is thinking. We deserve better than this. We deserve fans who respect the game. We deserve arenas where we feel safe. We deserve a league that doesn't laugh it off and sweep it under the towel. So yeah, Sophie might have said it with a little fire in her voice. But maybe fire is exactly what's needed right now. Because if this is the new normal, then it's time for some very not normal consequences. So drop your thoughts below. Was Sophie right to speak out? Are these fans pushing the boundaries too far? And what should the WNBA do to stop this from becoming the next dumb trend? And if you're as tired of the nonsense as we are, hit that subscribe button, because we'll keep calling out the madness until somebody finally puts a stop to it. This league is too good to be treated like a joke. And Sophie Cunningham? She's not laughing. It's easy to laugh, at first. But here's what they don't understand. This isn't funny when you're the one on the court. When you're sprinting full speed toward the rim, cutting off a screen, or diving for a loose ball, and a heavy object lands under your shoe, you're not laughing. You're risking a torn ACL. And when it happens again 3 days later, it's not a joke anymore. It's a trend. A sick, childish, attention-hungry trend. And Sophie Cunningham wasn't about to let it slide. Because what she said wasn't just about toys. It was about respect. For the players. For the game. For the hundreds of women who spent decades building this league brick by brick. Paycheck by underwhelming paycheck. Only be mocked when the spotlight finally shows up. See, that's the real kicker. These aren't just athletes. These are pioneers. Women who played through injuries, flew commercial, shared hotel rooms, and trained on off days just to keep the WNBA alive. And now that it's finally reaching a new level of popularity, finally breaking into mainstream, this is how some fans choose to celebrate? By turning it into a sideshow? Nah, that's not how this works. Not in 2025. Not with this level of competition. Not with players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, Aya Wilson, and yes, Sophie Cunningham, fighting every single day to earn the same level of respect their male counterparts get just by existing. Can you imagine this happening in an NBA game? No. Seriously, can you imagine? A toy thrown mid-game at Steph Curry? Or during a LeBron fast break? Security would be on the offender in 2 seconds flat. Cameras would track the culprit's face. They'd be banned, fined, maybe even arrested. The headlines would be about the fans' behavior, not the object's color. But here, in the WNBA, it gets giggles, maybe a tweet or two, a towel wrap, and that's it. That's the difference. The male game gets security. The women's game gets memes. And that's why Sophie's post hit so hard. Because it wasn't just about the object. It was about what the object represents. Disrespect, dismissiveness, a league still being treated like a novelty, even in its most serious moments. Remember, the first incident happened in a tied game with less than a minute to go. That's crunch time. That's when the best of the best rise to the occasion. And in that moment, someone decided to take the spotlight away from the players and throw at themselves. Literally, that's not fandom. That's narcissism. And the WNBA needs to say that loud and clear. Because if they don't, if they keep brushing it off as harmless antics or overexcited fans, they send a message that this league is a playground, that the women on the court aren't professionals, that disruption is tolerated, even when it puts players at risk. And if that's the message they allow, it's going to happen again and again until someone gets hurt. Or worse, until a player decides it's not worth it anymore. That's what people forget. These women are giving everything to this game. They don't have million-dollar contracts to fall back on. They don't have 10 endorsement deals cushioning every bad day. They're out there because they love it, because they believe in it, because they know they're changing something. And when fans treat their workplace like a frat party, it's not just annoying, it's demoralizing. Sophie Cunningham spoke up because someone had to, not with a brand deal, not with a press team, not with a sanitized, watered-down statement. She posted raw, real, frustrated. Stop throwing toys on the court. You're going to hurt one of us. Direct, unapologetic, and frankly overdue, and yet the league's silence is deafening. No official statement, no press conference, no new security protocols, not even a tweet condemning behavior. That silence, it speaks volumes. It says, we're not ready to deal with this. It says, we're more afraid of embarrassing the fan than protecting the player. And that's a problem. Because when Sophie stood up, she didn't just speak for herself. She spoke for every woman who's ever been asked to smile through discomfort, to be cool about being harassed, to not overreact when the vibe turns hostile. And if the league doesn't echo that message, if they don't stand behind her, they're leaving their players to handle it alone. Again. So what now? What happens next depends on whether the WNBA wants to be a professional league or an internet punchline, because they can't be both. They can install metal detectors at games. They can upgrade their security. They can eject fans on the spot and make examples out of them. Or they can keep wrapping neon rubber toys in towels and hoping no one makes a fuss. But here's what they can't do. Ignore it. Not anymore. Because if the players are the ones defending themselves on social media and the league stays quiet, that's not just embarrassing. That's cowardice. And let's be clear, this isn't a call for overreaction. No one's asking for lockdowns or body scanners. We're asking for basic respect. The same level of safety, order, and professionalism that every other major league already has in place. That shouldn't be a radical ask. It should be a baseline standard. And if the WNBA wants to keep growing, if they want to build on this incredible momentum, this golden era they finally entered, they need to take moments like this seriously. Because you can have all the talent in the world, all the star power, all the viral dunks in primetime slots and celebrity endorsements. But if your players don't feel safe, you've already lost. So here's to Sophie Cunningham, for saying what needed to be said, for standing up, not just for herself, but for her teammates, her peers, and the entire future of the league. And here's to hoping the WNBA finally listens, because next time, the object might be heavier, the timing might be worse, and the consequences might not be so funny. Let's talk about the elephant in the arena, or in this case, the one sliding across the hardwood. The WNBA doesn't have the luxury of brushing off things like this. Not anymore. Because what happened with Sophie Cunningham and the green object that shall not be named didn't just make headlines. It exposed something deeper, something uglier. On one side, a generation of athletes who are pushing the WNBA into the mainstream. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu, and yes, Sophie Cunningham. These players are selling out arenas, driving social media engagement, and turning casual viewers into die-hard fans. But on the other side, a system that's still treating them like sideshows. Because when fans feel empowered to throw a toy on the court twice in 1 week, and there are no immediate consequences, it sends a message loud and clear. We don't take this seriously. And that's devastating, because players like Sophie aren't just battling opponents on the court. They're battling a world off the court that still doesn't fully respect what they do. For every poster dunk or logo 3 that makes it onto ESPN, there's a mountain of condescension waiting in the comments. People still asking, do they even get paid? Still acting like the league is some charity project or cute afterthought. Never mind that these women train year-round. Never mind that they're representing their cities, their countries, and in many cases, their identities in a way men's sports never had to. They're out here grinding, playing back-to-backs with half the resources, flying coach while their male counterparts charter jets, getting paid fractions of what they're worth. And now, they also have to worry about dodging airborne rubber objects. Give me a break. This isn't just a safety issue. It's a respect issue. And Sophie Cunningham has had enough. That post she made, "Stop throwing toys on the court, you're going to hurt one of us," was the type of raw, unfiltered honesty that the league needs more of, not less. Because here's the truth. These players have been quiet about a lot. About the travel conditions, about the training schedules, about the inconsistent refereeing, about the constant comparisons to the NBA that no one asked for. But this was one disrespect too many. Because if you're wondering why Sophie sounded so fed up, it's because she and a lot of other players have been holding their tongues for years. They've played through microaggressions, sexist tweets, and bone-crunching fouls without complaint. They've answered stupid post-game questions like, "Do you think the crowd was distracted because of your looks?" with grace and composure. But when someone throws a literal toy onto the court during a live possession, all bets are off. And yet, while Sophie was calling it out, others tried to laugh it off. Angel Reese made a joke. Sydney Colson played along. The broadcast booth giggled. The crowd? Confused but entertained. That difference in reaction? It highlights the divide between coping mechanisms. Some use humor. Some use rage. Some just try to ignore it altogether. But deep down, they're all dealing with the same reality. The WNBA is growing faster than the infrastructure designed to protect it, faster than the rules, faster than the culture, faster than the respect. And the players? They're the ones paying the price. Sophie Cunningham may have been the one who said it out loud, but she's far from the only one who's tired of pretending everything's fine. Because it's not. There's a version of this story where that object bounces off someone's foot and they tear a ligament, where it hits a player in the face mid-jump, where a fan sees it, thinks it's funny, and takes things a step further next game. And what then? Will the league still laugh? Will security still stay quiet? Will commentators still call it one of a kind? Because this is where it starts. You ignore the little things, and they grow. You downplay the warning signs, and they escalate. And by the time someone finally takes it seriously, it's already too late. So what can the WNBA do? Let's break it down. Issue a statement. Right now. Public. Clear. Condemning the behavior in no uncertain terms. Not a tweet. Not a thoughts and prayers press release. An actual message that makes it known. This is not okay. Ban the fans. Find the individuals who threw those objects. Ban them. Publicly. Set a precedent. This isn't about shame. It's about deterrence. If people know they can't get away with it, they'll think twice. Enhance arena security. Metal detectors. More floor-level personnel. Camera surveillance. Every NBA arena does it. There's no reason the WNBA can't. Empower the players. Give them space to speak out without fear of fines. Let them lead these conversations. Because they're already the faces of the league. Might as well let them be its voice. Educate the audience. Use broadcast to make expectations clear. Use halftime interviews. Use promo videos. Fans need to understand. This is professional basketball, and it demands professional behavior. Because this isn't the Bush League anymore. This is a televised, ticketed, top-tier sports league filled with world-class athletes. And if the league itself doesn't start treating it that way, and demanding fans do the same, then they're only sabotaging their own future. And let's be honest, that future is bright. With Caitlin Clark drawing record numbers, with Angel Reese taking over social media, with veterans like Aya Wilson dominating night after night, the WNBA is on the cusp of something massive. All the pieces are there. The talent, the drama, the storylines, the rivalries, the legacy. But if you don't protect it, if you don't defend the court, then you risk losing it all, one stupid gimmick at a time. So if you've been watching from the sidelines, thinking the WNBA is still up and coming, think again. It's here, and now more than ever. It needs fans who show up for the right reasons, not to throw things, not to go viral, but to watch greatness happen in real time, to support a league that deserves respect, to stand behind players who put everything on the line to build something that was never guaranteed. So here's your moment. Do you want to be a spectator or a supporter? Because as Sophie Cunningham made crystal clear, there's no room for toys on the hardwood, only pros. Drop a comment. Do you think the league handled this right? Was Sophie right to speak out so boldly? And what should the WNBA do to make sure it never happens again? Hit subscribe if you're here for the drama, the real talk, and the respect these athletes deserve. Because this story isn't over. And neither is this league. Not even close.